Yeah.
Did I miss an Akira slide in this, or was that
There was no Akira
that
slide. That was I think that part was like under wraps. That was like the
ah,
NDA technology. No one was allowed to do an Akira slide before that trailer hit. Uh,
get their fingers broken?
yeah. Oh, for sure. You were gonna end up. You were getting chopped up and thrown in the bay for that. Hello, and welcome to Is That Some Kind of Japanimation Thing? A show that saw you in the produce section wearing your Bubblegum Crisis t-shirt and shouted across the avocados that I too hate boomers, and everyone looked at looked at me funny, and you pretended not to hear me because you were wearing your big headphones, and I had to
Oh,
leave. My name is Scott. Joining me today is...
Justin.
And joining us is our special guest, Michelle. Michelle, introduce yourself.
Hi, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
All right. And what do you do, Michelle?
Well, I'm a film critic. My day job is air traffic controller, which I'm currently not getting paid for. So I guess I'm just a film critic for now. My side job's become my day job, but yeah, I'm a film critic, and I also work on Blu-ray releases and whatnot. Like I do essays for companies and video essays as well for companies like Arrow and Vinegar Syndrome and Kino Lorber and all those kind of companies. So that's what I do for the most part. My hobbies.
All right. And this episode is sponsored by listener support through KoFi. If you're listening to this on the day of release, that means you've already backed us, and we thank you very much. If you're catching us on the free feed later on, you could get this episode early by backing us on KoFi. A one-time donation gets you everything free, or at least for a year. I don't know what the rules are set up as. And also, you will be funding our first ever campaign, in which I will explain in painful detail as many legal kerfuffles related to Macross and Robotech as I can find. The DC Comics shows up. DC Comics shows up at some point. The Prime Minister of Italy, Silvio Berlusconi, will show up. It's a wild ride, folks. It is a wild ride, even if you don't count all the things Carl did. This episode is also brought to you by Hobby Link Japan. You can use the link in the description to go right to their section of back orders for the Garland from Megazone 2-3. Both kits, both in regular and mass production. They're on back order right now, but you can get an email notification when they're ready, and you can get a very nice private warehouse deal where they'll hold it for you until shipping makes sense for at least one place on Earth. Everywhere else, if you're in France, you're fine. You're fine. They'll just small packet that shit to you over there. All right, so we are starting off with Megazone 23, a multi-part direct-to-video series. A multi-part direct-to-video series. I forgot there was a part 3. That's what happened today. But this was developed by initially for television. Supposedly going to be airing on Fuji TV, but one of their key sponsors, presumably the toy company, I'm going to blame some unnamed toy company in 1985 for not making a cool transforming motorcycle. They pulled out, which meant they had about 4 episodes of material and no sponsors, so they very quickly took those 4 episodes and a few others and raised some money to add a few other scenes and some interstitial stuff, and stapled that together real fast for a home video release on VHS Laserdisc. I'm going to remember that I forget this. Yeah, Laserdisc VHS, Betamax, and VHD, which was an analog disc system that you've never heard of. But this sold in 1985. It did sell a little under 250,000 copies in Japan at a price of 7,800 yen, which turns out to end up being a billion yen. A billion yen over the first year, which led to them making sequels.
That sounds like a good box office.
That's a pretty good run. Obviously, this is in 85, so the peak of the bubble economy and the peak of the OVA boom. But this first part was directed by Nomuro Ishiguro, best known for his work on Space Battleship Yamato, Macross, and The Legend of the Galactic Heroes. Speaking of things that cost a lot of money on home video, 7,800 yen, 100 per episode. 100
Dang.
episodes. You had, if you presumably rented most of that, probably if you were a hardcore fan. You probably just
Now that was in 1980s money.
1980s money. But yeah.
How much is that in, say, Canadian or American? If you know off the top of your head.
So at the time that would have been about $82 US in 80s money. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
But that used to be what VHSs cost in the US because everyone assumed that you were either selling to a library, a video rental store, or an academic institution. People would buy players and then just rent their tapes. There would never be a home video collector market. No. Japan still charges that same amount to this day, and they have a home video collector market, but it's all weirdos like us. This was written by Hiroyuki Yoshiyama, best known for Cyber Formula GXP, Vifum, and Vampire Wars. On Tubi, if you watch this subbed, which you can, because I think everything on Tubi will probably end up on this show at some point, the subtitles are closed captions, which is a shame. Also, it's based on the DVD master, which is covered in cell dirt.
Why did you put me through this, Scott?
I did because adverse movie viewing makes us better. It makes us better. Isn't that right? Michelle has an actual Blu-ray with a good transfer.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, I have a gray market copy because I had it before it got re-released because it used to be pretty hard to find. I mean, it still is kind of comparatively, but I believe it was sourced from the Japanese Blu-ray because it looks immaculate. I would assume so. Also, it has really good subtitles. They're all different colors, and they actually have different fonts and shapes depending on kind of what's going on in the show. Like when they're singing, it's like pink. When they're talking, it's white. There's a part where they're talking through like a computer screen, and it sounds kind of robotic. So the font looks pixelated. I don't know who did the subtitles on it, but they did a really good job. Whoever fan subbed it.
Yeah, that sounds like fan sub work to me. That sounds like fan sub work to me.
It was too fancy and too cool and too much work involved to be a regular release. So.
Yeah. Also, there's like rules about accessibility on subtitles that you can't necessarily break most of the time.
Yeah, that's for sure.
That's for sure. All right, so we're not going to do this beat for beat because it's feature length and we'll be here all night. But I will say, plot-wise, we are introduced to Tokyo in the 1980s and a young motorcyclist who...
That's in quotation marks, folks.
Yeah, like, surprise, this will... Oh, actually, before I even get into the plot, content warning, nudity, sexual assault, gore, smoking, drinking and driving, anything else? Just mass destruction. And, one more thing, if you're watching the dub, speaking of dubious consent, Eve is voiced by Monica Real, who successfully defended herself in a slap lawsuit against serial sexual harasser and sandwich thief Vic Mignona. Fuck that guy. Just gotta get that in there every time his name comes up.
Honestly, that should be the subtitle of the show.
Vic Mignona stole my friend. Is that some kind of Japan animation thing? Vic Mignona stole my friend Pedro's sandwich in 2003 and we've never forgiven him. All right, so the plot is we are introduced to Tokyo in 1985, the peak of the bubble economy, and we are introduced to motorcycle enthusiast Shogo, who sexually harasses a woman named Yui, and then tries to make up for it by giving her some help. And then there's a montage. He finds a cool motorcycle. He outruns the army. It turns out that by coincidence, he makes friends with all of Yui's roommates. Again, this first one is just jank for stapling plot points together. Accidentally befriends all of Yui's roommates. Turns out they have hopes and dreams. One of them is to make a movie. They take this stolen motorcycle to make a movie. The stolen motorcycle leads them to the secret underground city under Tokyo, and it's a spaceship. Tokyo is a spaceship, and it's being controlled by an AI who is also a pop star. Because that's how you would control the world in the 80s. You would just
that plot point has
AM.
never come up ever in Mecha. Is like, pop stars and and AI. That's never been used ever again.
It's so, again, Carl signed contracts in the wrong order and had to use this for the Robotech movie, and by sheer accident found the perfect Robotech movie.
Yeah.
So it turns out that, yes, a robot has been keeping us in the dark about, 500 years of history, and we've all just been living in 80s Tokyo for hundreds of years. How? Not explained. Not explained.
If someone leaves town, they brainwash them, so they think they went to Paris.
Just go. Also, while they did lose their favorite their toy sponsor, they did secure a real cross-promotional deal with McDonald's. That's a real McDonald's product placement in this movie. And that also means that we were deprived of one of my favorite anime genders, things that are clearly McDonald's that have been relabeled to be not McDonald's. Love McDonald's.
Did they get Coke too? Because it felt like a Coke commercial.
I think they got
points.
I think they probably did get Coke. They probably did get Coke alongside McDonald's. That probably came as a package. Yui is sexually assaulted by a movie producer. Then there's a bunch of fight scenes. There's an army guy who is here to enforce the secret of the Megazone, and then also wants to take over the Megazone and use its high technology for unclear reasons. There's then a military coup of the government, because it turns out the Megazone is being attacked by aliens. We don't know anything about them. We never see them. We never understand them. It's not that kind of movie. It's actually not. This would be the part where Robotech would probably fix that and have a pop song bond these people forever.
It ain't that kind of movie, kid.
Yeah.
Okay, I have one question. Is the alien also an artificial intelligence? Like a space brainiac? With the wire thing it does, I assumed, it's also a space robot.
We never find out anything about it. It's just weird. It's just alien. I think there's also a better movie where they reveal that, no, this is just the drone warfare program of Megazone 19, which is France from the 2060s. Like, it's 2060s Paris versus 1980s Tokyo the entire time. And they still have to bond over pop music. There is a scene where Lupin is a cop. That's just a weird cameo. Very weird cameo. And then there's the pop star is replaced by a different identical pop star who wants you to join the Navy. There's a very long fight scene. And then Shogo loses and he just wanders the street bleeding. And that's the end of it. And yeah, $1 billion yen from tape sales. What were people doing in the 80s?
Coke?
Really not sure.
Yeah, there's that. Yeah, I mean, Michelle, like, well, you said you hadn't really watched this in ages. What's your experience with the Megazones?
So I think Megazone 2-3 is it's like a capsule of a time, but I think I like it. I like part 1 better than part 2 because I don't like Umetsu kind of took over the character designs, And I just don't like his style as much. He draws like the ugliest men I've ever seen in my life. Like, there's no hot dudes. Every guy is the grossest gremlin, dude ever. He draws great chicks, but his dudes are fugly, so it just bothers me. And there's also like a very big quality shift to lower budget, because obviously they try to get more money, and then at the last minute they kind of like took some funds back that they were going to use to make it. So there's like a quality shift as well. But I kind of like how tonally unstable part 1 is, because it starts off like a slice of life kind of anime where it's like, Shogo's trying to romantically pursue that girl. And like, he just so happens to have he later gets a motorcycle that turns into a mech. And then, it's kind of goofy. And then there's like fan service. And then it gets serious business. Like, their roommate gets murdered, because she has that footage, right? And they're trying to keep the information from getting out that they're actually living in a false reality on a ship. So they kill her to take her footage, and it's so dark after that. And I think it's also kind of interesting that it's like kind of thematically on point, because the whole point of the show is that they're living in a fake reality where they're perpetually happy, when in actuality the reality is that the Earth has been destroyed, it's rubble, and they're living this false life. So the beginning is actually the audience is also living the false life, in that it's like tonally completely different. And once they kill the roommate, then you realize like it's serious business. Like, all of this stuff is actually, a facade, essentially. And I also love the kind of like character arc that Shogo goes through, where he is basically going through ego death, and like his entire world has been shown that he is a lie. So he's trying to like grapple with that simultaneously, trying to save the ones he loves. It's kind of I would say kind of like a nihilistic dark anime almost towards the end. And also it has like a lot of similarities with things like The Matrix, which I guess the Wachowski sisters said that, oh my God, we've never heard of Megazone 2-3, but I think they did, because they knew about a lot of other anime. They probably knew of it.
It's funny how they can name check all these other like blocks, real classics of the blockbuster rental shelf. Like, oh yeah, we love Ghost in the Shell, we love Dark City, we love Cyber City 080808.
Yeah.
We Vampire D's our hero. We made a whole Speed Racer that's secretly about being trans. That's It's a Pink Cloud movie, I tell you what. But no, we skipped Robotech the movie. We never saw that one. Never did.
Yeah,
it's like how no one at Disney had ever seen Kimba the White Lion. Nobody who worked at Disney in the 90s ever saw Kimba the White Lion. Was not on LA TV for a decade. No, it was not on KTLA Saturday mornings for 10 years. No, it was not. Nobody saw it. Nobody saw Kimba the White Lion.
But I do agree with you that it's structurally weird, though. It's like, it feels like it's missing like connective tissue.
Yeah, there's one
episodic in a way.
There's one montage that's only stills, and I'm like, oh yeah, you're definitely stretching that budget. Coca-Cola did not give you enough to animate this date. No, you did not.
But they put a little extra shading in there,
Yeah, well, if you're not going to animate it, you can at least, get the airbrush out. You can get the airbrush out for that. So, Justin, I think my thoughts on part 1 is like, I think everyone, it's like the Velvet Underground album theory. It's like everyone who saw this made a better one. Everyone who saw this made a better one. And when we get into part 2, I think that's going to also hold true.
As the most basic consumer of anime in Western world, I got a lot. I don't know if it was the first one or the second one, but I got some heavy Akira vibes. Like the bike hoodlums. Was that a common thing in Japan? Bike hoodlums?
It was a common worry. And this will transition us into part 2, I should say, because part 2 opens with
Bozozuku or whatever.
Yeah, the Bokuzokus. The other thing is that in this, they were working on this in 85 and 86, and Akira took like 6 years to make and employed everyone in Japan, and about 90% of South Korea were all employed on Akira at one point or another, which means you can see references to Akira years before it came out. Like Tetsuo and Kaneda show up in the middle of the part of Gundam Double Zeta where they go to the moon, and that's 87 right there. Yeah.
Did I miss an Akira slide in this, or was that?
There was no Akira slide. That was I think that part was like under wraps. That was like the NDA technology. No one was allowed to do an Akira slide before that trailer hit.
Get their fingers broken.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. You were gonna end up. You were getting chopped up and thrown in the bay for that. Megazone 2-3 comes out a year later with a new character designer, and a new director, because we've got Ichiro Itano, famous for being Ichiro Itano. He's the Macross guy. He is the guy. He is the inventor of the Itano Circus. He is he is infamous for high detailed, complicated moving objects in scenes. The writer, Hiroyuki Yoshiyama, returns. You might also know him from Trider G7, the Turn A Gundam movies, and the regular Gundam movies, and like 5 episodes of the original Dirty Pair. And they took the year to really rethink things. And
hey, Scott, I did it quick. Thankfully, I can just highlight and Google. You wanna maybe let the people at home know what an Itano Circus is?
All right, so the Itano Circus is perhaps better known in American circles as the Macross Missile Massacre, or the no, I have 7 points of auto dodge, Kevin. This is how auto dodge works. No, Jerry, that's not how auto dodge works. It works like this. Riffs was bad. Hot take. But
well, what about the Robotech RPG? Did it not originate there? Was he not just basically?
Yeah, Riffs was literally stapling all the stuff from Robotech and Ninja Turtles into something he owned badly.
Apologies for bringing up our D&D bullshit show.
I'm okay. I used to run D&D campaigns, so it doesn't bother me.
Okay, good.
Back us on KoFi, where we will explain how Kevin Symbieta can't run a company, and also how Harmony Gold didn't actually sue FASA ever. They sued Catalyst Game Lads and Hairbrain Screams in 2015, but nothing before that. It's very complicated.
There will be charts. There will be pins and string.
There will be flow charts and color-coded highlights. It will be great. 6 months later, the Army has framed Shogo for murder. Not any of like the high-speed chases through the streets. Not any of the domestic terrorism he actually did. Just the murder. And he's been on the run. He has befriended an entirely new supporting cast of bikers, who I like. I like these bikers. They are archetypes, but you immediately get them, and they're a lot more fun than like the bubbly pop people of Part 1. There are definitely a lot of animators having fun hiding references to other things they've worked on the entire time. All the pinball machines are American cartoons that these guys animated without getting credit. There's Silverhawks, there's Thundercats, there's a few others in there.
I did adore that.
Yeah, it's great. So the Army has declared that they are at war with someone. They can't say aliens. They're not going to say they're fighting aliens, but they are saying they're at war, which is why there is martial law. We see that the government is actually going to sell out the Army to the aliens somehow. Again, there's like 40 minutes of plot in this movie, but they just let Itano animate an hour and 20 minutes of cool shit.
Add some explosions in there. Scott, now, if I don't recall, but like in the first movie, wasn't the enemy like another floating city thing?
Yeah, now it looks completely different, just like Yui. Don't talk about it. About it. Yeah.
No, just wanted to make sure. When you get to a certain age, you become concerned for your cognitive function, and you want to make sure you're recalling things correctly. So, yes, okay, good. Not me, it's the show. Thank you very much.
Eve is trying to hack into TVs to talk to Shogo. Indirectly, she's trying to code things without having set up a code at first, and then Shogo determines that he and his biker friends have to invade the Megazone and take back the computer that controls the government. And then there's a bunch of chases and fights, and it all looks cool, and nobody freaks out about all the hover bikes running around. Nobody freaks out. And then they get to Eve. She does more exposition, again, and we find out that the computer that runs Earth gets to pass judgment on them without saying anything. He doesn't say anything. Adam says nothing. He just blows up. He uses the moon to blow up the aliens, and then blows up the city. And then the bikers get to escape pod onto Earth and live on the post-apocalyptic Earth. And I don't know about you, Justin, but I don't think bikers in a post-apocalyptic Earth could ever be interesting. There's no good movies about that.
No, it looked positively verdant, to be honest.
Yeah, that is some life after people stuff. That's 500 years of just like, no, things are normal.
Wally seems to have found evidence of regeneration.
Yeah, for real. There is a lot of cool stuff. Like, if you're an animation fan, you can watch debris flying around and, Itano just animating guys getting turned into beef stroganoff. But otherwise,
Holy
I don't know.
God.
There's not a lot of movie to this movie. It's just a lot of stuff that looks cool, and then it's over. I should mention that the score on both halves was done by Shiro Sagisu, who you definitely know from Evangelion and Shin Godzilla.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, early Shiro Sagisu, before he just started doing the rip-off that one James Bond song over and over. I like that James Bond song too. I liked it. But Michelle, part 2. Is it anything for you?
I don't mind it. And like you said, it's more action-packed. There's more I just like the arc of part 1 better. Like, where they're living in their fake reality and it comes crumbling down around them. And then part 2 is kind of more just like fighting, and it's not as good to me. And like I said, I don't like the character designs in it as much. I do agree with you that the other punk motorcyclists are more interesting in this one, more dynamic and a little edgier. So, but yeah, part 2 is just, it's just not as good as part 1 to me.
One thing I think is interesting, and this is definitely, I think, kind of hitting at the themes that are carrying over from part 1, is that a bunch of characters start announcing that they want to act more like action movie heroes. Like, they're reclaiming an even more fake life. Not even just the fake 80s Japan, but like the fake 80s Japan that was in movies. And it's like, no, we gotta start living like we're heroes in these movies. That's what we gotta do. And like, there's also people, and I think, again, if this had been 12 episodes, I think having this be a complete arc where it comes full circle and like, oh yeah, they make a movie to find the truth and then they decide to live like it's a movie. That's a circle there. That's a narrative circle, and that'd be something. But this is just, again, mostly an excuse for animators to show off that they can draw things breaking and things flying around and dudes getting turned into beef stroganoff.
It kind of has an interesting, I guess, like meta perspective too, when you think about the idea that 1980s Japan's bubble economy was similarly a facade. It was kind of like, a temporary thing where everybody was profiting, but at what cost? And actually there, that also happened in the 80s in the United States as well, and I think maybe, since part 2 was kind of released a little bit later, maybe it's the, people writing it kind of thinking about how life in Japan was going to change for the worse, right? Because there's, people talk about the lost generation of the 90s after the bubble popped, right? And a lot of 90s stuff made, in Japan is cognizant of that and kind of addresses the melancholy. A very good example of that is fucking Evangelion right there. That is very indicative of the depression and the sadness and the regret of life in Japan in the 90s versus the 80s of the excess, and then how there's a whole generation that had nothing that their previous generation enjoyed. And I think it's maybe just kind of, I guess it's just like I'm trying to say, it's like a meta kind of, thought process, character kind of arc of them realizing that everything's going to change. And also that you have to be happy with what you have in the present, even if things are going wrong around you. If you have your friends, if you have your lovers, if you have someone or anything to love or be passionate about, then you can get through it no matter how bad it gets. So I think it has some cultural significance in that way, in just by the context of when it was made.
Yeah, and I mean, it's also very telling that the sex scene in this is consensual and way more explicit. Way more.
Mm-hmm. I do find it interesting that you mentioned the sex scenes. Because the way the female character love interest is treated in the first film is just strange. Because Shogo is like you you kind of said in the beginning, he's sexually harassing her in the beginning, which he is, and then she goes on a date with him, but the way he treats her is almost like an afterthought a lot of the time. Like, she is a foil for him. Everything that she does as a character is to make him realize something about himself, which is common in not poorly written stuff that when they don't know how to write a female character correctly, which they don't in this, I don't think. But I'm not saying the entire thing is poorly written.
I'm going to say the best written character in part 2 is Dump. Dumpy. The big biker lady who trucks no nonsense.
Yeah.
And carries a rocket launcher.
You know, you got to respect a woman with a rocket launcher.
That's right.
You know, she's got the rocket launcher and she'll blow that your son of a bitch ass away.
And that's good character writing. Every woman should have a rocket launcher at some point in every piece of media, in my opinion. But there's a whole part where they drop a bunch of exposition, and it's literally while Shogo is like having sex with her.
Yeah,
like they're just like showing her getting, banged out, and and then they're like, and also here's a bunch of exposition in case we don't want you to get bored while we're explaining you stuff. So here's some titties,
Yeah, look. They invented this. They invented this technology so that HBO's Rome could be tolerable.
Megazone 23 awkwardly thrust against one another so Rome could run. I don't know. The metaphor. The metaphor isn't there. What year was this released?
There actually isn't too much fan service.
No, there's one extended sex scene, but there's not a lot of other stuff. So, part 2 came out in 1986.
Because the first one, I just wanted to say, I actually got Streets of Fire vibes from it.
Yeah, no,
certainly. They have a
not a
poster
film
of
I
it
love
in the movie.
Sorry, there is.
Yeah, there's a poster of it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. In the beginning, they show a poster of Streets of Fire.
Yeah, Streets of Fire was absolutely huge to a bunch of guys in Japan. That's how we got the entire beat 'em up arcade genre. Really, you do.
Bubblegum Crisis is a homage to it.
Certainly, Bubblegum Crisis.
I'm very glad to see it did some good in this world. Then.
Streets of Fire is 20 as a great first act and a fantastic third act, and I don't know, you can nap through the middle, I guess, but it definitely did a lot. It did a lot for pop culture in a way that we don't think about. We don't think about Streets of Fire enough.
And so much for guys wearing fisherman shorts and nothing else.
Certainly
leather fisherman shorts.
Leather, yes. God damn it, Defoe.
He's so hot in that movie, though.
Uncomfortably so. I'm sorry.
Yeah, those leather fisherman overalls are hitting it real good. He's the only person that can pull that off.
I really regret not seeing the movie he did with Catherine Bigelow, because apparently that was also a Biker's Menace, a small town movie with him. I assume just wearing a denim vest at some points, and nothing else. So yeah, I'm like, what the hell, Willem Dafoe. Anyway, yes, but this movie that we are talking about,
yeah,
space battles,
so many with people we don't know or care about. Just such a long... Yeah, go.
There was a subtitled sound effect in the first one that said "Robot Waka Waka," I believe, and that is now my favorite sound effect in cinema. Every movie should include something relating to Robot Waka Waka.
Obviously, closed captions have their place. They're not subtitles, but sometimes you just get things out of them you would not otherwise, like Robot Waka Waka. All right, so
this felt incredibly Japanimation, Scott.
Yes, this is definitely very Japanimation. That's what I wanted to ask you about. Obviously, you don't have the context of Megazones 1 through 22 because no one got those. No one got those. They're
eliminated in the development process.
Well, no, they're like, this is it. They in almost 9 years ago at this point, they did a Kickstarter to do a reboot and a prequel, 2 different series, and like no one's heard about them since then. But it's like,
did they get funded?
Yeah, they funded in 2017, but like we haven't heard anything from it. And who knows what happened at Artland.
I will remind you, the past half decade is pretty much a wash.
Yes, pretend. Yeah, like the 1100 days of March 2020 really don't count for a lot of things. They really don't. Oh yeah, no, we had a progress report earlier in 2020 at the tail end of the 1100 days of March 2020. AIC says that they are working on a reboot series, and it's planning. So I guess something's going on with that. Something might actually happen with this, which means we get to have, I don't know, a bunch of old guys complain about how everything is different. And, obviously we're going to have to riot in the streets if they don't include Best Girl Dump.
I mean, why can't they just...
They're just going to complain about the way it looks.
Oh, yeah. The robot... The motorcycle robot's going to be CG and everyone's going to die. It'll be the greatest it'll be the greatest crime ever. A CG mech in an anime. They're getting good at it, guys. I don't know what to tell you.
God bless them. They're doing their best in that.
Yeah, it's not all Berserk, like 2016 or whatever that one was when they were first figuring it out.
oh yeah, the Berserk reboot.
It's a lot better now.
Yeah, I mean,
like the new Trigun that came out looked fantastic, and it uses that style.
Yeah, that was our first season. Our first season was us talking about both Triguns, and we'll go back to it fairly soon for Stargaze. And I was really impressed with how they made Trigun look.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean,
yeah, it looks great.
I sent Justin a link to an interview with Naitao, the manga artist, and he was just talking about how the new character designs is like, oh, I really didn't think Vash could work with bangs. But then they showed me, and I'm like, no, it works.
I've long ago stopped noticing human hair, so, even in entertainment, I'm like, oh, they're a person with the scruffies on their head. Good for them.
Oh, they're blue now. They come in blue now.
I will say, when I was rewatching this, anytime I rewatch something with cell animation, I'm always impressed by the painted backgrounds. They just have so much life to them. Like even in just like in any given scene, there's always so much detail, and like there's books in the background and little doodads and knickknacks and great colors, and the transfer I was watching was so crisp. Sometimes you could see brush strokes like where they painted the backgrounds, and I just missed that because even in really good 3D CGI anime, the backgrounds always come off as like an afterthought to me. They just don't have the kind of depth and lighting that cell animation it's just staged better. I feel like everything's more intentional, because I'm sure in 3D CGI anime they can just render a background, right, and then just like plop them in there and that's the background. But in this, every frame, right, they have to they have to hand paint that background. It just gives it a little bit more organic depth, I feel like, than newer stuff.
It's absolutely the production pipeline, right? Like if you are doing even if you're doing a 2D show where you're using a computer to generate a background, you lose some of that intentionality where someone has to sit down and say, no, this is the camera angle we have to use because this is how this is how the background got painted, and then everything works from there outward, as opposed to a fully 3D environment where you can just be like, okay, as long as we get enough textures on enough surfaces, we can play with the camera in the moment a lot more. And sure, that lends itself to some movement and some interesting use of perspective, but it also means that you can't just have a genuinely painterly perspective where you just sit down and say, no, I'm going to draw this character's room, and it's going to reflect the character, and once it's done, all right, you paint it, you layer your animations on top of it, and it all works, right? It either works or it doesn't. It's not a movie where Tokyo is a character. I'm not going to be that guy who says, oh yeah, Tokyo is a real character in this. But it's clear that, like, no, these guys made some time to show up. Like, obviously they took a lot of reference photos, but they also just really took some care and said, okay, no, this is the city. This is the city. We're going to show it off. We're going to show it off at its best. And then we're going to watch it disintegrate to melancholic J-pop. We're going to watch it disintegrate.
Yeah. Well, it's an idealized, Tokyo too. The idea that I do love the idea that it's kind of like nostalgic, simultaneously with being, because they're like, Eve says at one point, I picked this era because it's when you guys seem like you were the happiest, and that's why I made it this particular time in Tokyo. And I kind of feel like maybe that's kind of like a wistful thinking of the people that made it as well. Like there's this kind of like maybe now is the best time in our lives, and it kind of turned out to be true. I feel like everybody kind of fondly looks back there. Yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of ways about it. Like they're like, it is an idealized version of the city. We don't see any litter. We don't see anyone being mean to each other except for Shogo. Mm-hmm. And like the bikers only hurt people who deserve it. Cops.
Yeah.
I am not entirely certain Heineken paid to be in part 2. I don't think that happened. I don't think the beer company signed off. I am pretty sure Suntory would have strong words about depicting drinking and driving.
Yeah. Oh God. Yes, they really dug their Heineken.
Oh yes, so much. Also, probably didn't get it because Suntory distributes Heineken, but not Budweiser, and it wouldn't do competitors. You wouldn't get competitors. Knowing who distributes Heineken in Japan is brought to you by playing way too much of the Yakuza video game franchise. So much product placement for Suntory brands and no one else.
Oh, hey, you get your money,
yeah, absolutely.
Play the game.
You play the game. So, Justin, what do you think about transforming motorcycles? We've seen transforming jets. But what about transforming motorcycles that turn into power armor? Is that a cool for you?
That's very neat, but you got to have a huge friggin' motorcycle for it to, like, real. I mean, like, it's a cartoon, science fiction, realistic. The term that gets abused significantly using it, but you need a big motorcycle for it not to look stupid. And when he got that super motorcycle, I'm like, that's a very impressively large super motorbike. And then it turned into robot whoop whoop, and I'm like, oh well, there you go, there you go.
I actually saw a guy on Twitter who had like made a cardboard, fully cardboard, functional, not a Megazone bike, but a Mospeda bike. It was like it was made of cardboard. You could sit on it, and then you could break it apart, and 2 guys would strap it around him. To be, like fully.
But he could not ride it around.
He could not ride it around. The wheels do not work. The wheels on that bus do not go round and round.
I mean, because it did look neat. I'm pretty sure I had the opportunity to buy one of them Robotech motorcycles in a toy store in Myrtle Beach sometime in the 80s, and I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'll just get this Rick Flag guy instead. And not Rick Flag. Roy
Fokker? There's a Rick
not
Hunter.
Roy. Rick Hunter, that's it.
There's a Rick Hunter. Yeah, and Roy Fokker, yes.
I looked at Roy Fokker and I'm like, yeah, he seems cool, but I got a bad feeling about him.
The bad feeling is that he's going to confess his love to Claudia and then get dead before she can serve him delicious pineapple salad.
Someday I'll feel comfortable enough with that, but this is not that day.
No. Yeah, so, and again, I think Yeah, again, I return to my theory that everyone who saw this made a better one, including the fact that just like, no, Akira was already in production and they were already making the better one of that with all the biker stuff.
Yeah.
The reason why I started thinking about this, it's been like, I had not thought about this series in 20 years, and it started rolling around in my head when I played the video game 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim, which is kind of the same premise, but in way more recondite and complicated, involving the robot city recreating 4 different time periods and also making teenagers fight bugs in the future with giant robots. It all comes together at the end, but it's a bendy visual novel / tower defense game that I recommend to everyone.
Yeah, I actually have it on PS5.
Is it available on Xbox Game Pass?
I don't know. Is that still a thing that's available? Is that a thing anyone pays for anymore? Because I know.
Not since it went up, I think.
That would be ludicrous. Why would someone have forgotten to cancel their thing?
It goes on sale a lot, though.
So it is only PlayStations and Nintendos.
These things can change. They are prone to change.
Yes, it may receive a port at some point, but no, it's a fantastic game. I think certainly if you were into Megazone at any point in your life, you owe it yourself to watch 13 Sentinels, just because it also gives you the phrase "my yakisoba pan angel."
Fascinating show. Wish it had been better.
Yeah. And fortunately, we have about 4 different better versions. Let's all go watch Dark City. All right, Michelle, I'll let you have the last word on this.
I mean, I don't dislike it, but you're right that it's one of those things where everybody just did it better. It also was compromised in some ways. Could have been better, but as per usual, and this happens a lot with movies and OVAs where you can just tell they had a baller idea, and then somebody was like, "Oh wait, we're going to give you 75% less money than we originally promised you," and then they kind of get hampered in that way. A lot of stuff that always ends like in a cliffhanger, and they never make a part 2 and that kind of thing. So this at least kind of has a full story, which is nice. It mostly got completed. It has a part 1 and a 2 and an ending of some kind of, and so and the animation for the most part looks really good. Great music. Music's fantastic.
The pop songs really do go off, I will say.
Yeah. Yeah, fantastic music, which was also, that concept was done better in Macross Plus, as we all know. So
yeah,
so that was also done better later.
Okay,
that entire idea of a pop star AI kind of thing.
Yeah,
with transforming mechas.
Yeah, obviously,
it's pretty good. It's all right.
Yeah. Obviously, you can hear Justin and I's thoughts on Macross Plus in detail earlier on the feed. You can scroll back, check those episodes out. No, this is absolutely a thing I definitely watched at 2 a.m. in university and dug, and seeing it now, it's like, oh no, it's just a relic of a time, and it's a fun thing, but you see the seams and you see where other people grew up around it. And I would recommend watching it just because it's free on Tubi, and Tubi is a fantastic source of things you should watch at 2 a.m. when you're bored.
So this was not a middle of the movie incongruous Tang delivery film for you then, Scott?
No, it did not. No. This despite all the moments of, oh, this is the part where my mom would come in. This is the part that someone would walk in and see that I am watching a sex scene or a bunch of wires turn guys into goop. There was no threat of me losing my blockbuster privileges in high school because of this movie.
Excellent.
This is, I think this one might have gotten me in trouble with my dorm room's bandwidth cap, though, because when I got into university, the dorm internet, you only got 5 gigs a week, and you had to be careful how you stole your movies. You had to wait until Saturday to turn your torrents on, because if you went over on Saturday night, they wouldn't really bother you about it. Michelle, your pluggables. Where can we find you? Your movie reviews? Hell, what airport should I be avoiding?
All of them.
International flights are still fully stocked, but yeah, I'm avoiding them for other reasons.
I'm on. Well, let me see. Everywhere you can find me, I'm on Substack. All these are under just like my regular name, Michelle Kistner. Substack. I'm on Bsky. I'm on Facebook. I write for Spoiler Free Movie Sleuth. On Instagram, I'm Robot Cookie, which is I call it my After Dark account. There's all kinds of this weird stuff. It's like all the weird shit I find on the internet. And some of the spicier things I watch are on there because sometimes, you can't post a poster on Facebook, you get banned. So my Instagram's spicier. Not in like I'm the spicy content, but I post other stuff that's spicy. I'm not spicy. I mean, unless you guys, unless you want to pay me something, but not really. Don't think you're going to get anything you want.
How many Substacks do you got to buy to see feet?
Yeah. Oh, I'm not getting paid right now. I might put my feet on discount. You never know.
Never put it on discount, Michelle.
Never discount feet. Worth. Never discount feet.
Might throw some armpits in there too.
Ooh, all right. Speaking of discounts,
I feel like those are.
No, go ahead. Finish.
That was it.
Okay. Speaking of discounts and adult content, HLJ, home of excellent discounted prices for figures, cosplay goods, art supplies, model kits, modeling supplies, magazines from Japan, and they do have an adult section. It's over there in the corner. You can get the things.
It's through the beaded curtain.
Yeah, they've got the beaded. They've got the beaded curtain, and you can get the figures, with the bits, and the things that go on the other organs that make you feel how you want to feel. I guess we just got the E rating on Apple now. I said that. I won't edit it out. Speaking of things I won't edit out, you can also visit us. You can also back us on KoFi, get episodes early, get bonus feeds, and you can also, again, back our campaign where I will explain how Carl Masick negotiated contracts in the wrong order and had to release this as Robotech the movie instead of Macross Do You Remember Love. That's how it went down.
Looking forward to that.
Signed the contracts in the wrong order. Anyway, I've been Scott. I want to thank Michelle. I want to thank Justin. Links to everything, especially Michelle's blog, is in the show notes. Until next time, take care of yourselves.
Yeah, I had a comment in the notes. Did Rush do the music for this? Complimentary.